Hello. There we go. Okay, we're going to reconvene here, second half. And I loved listening to Sean, so I hope it was the same for all of you. And I told him, I said, coming out singing like that, I mean, that just hooked me immediately. I loved it. What a great way to open. So, yeah. So thank you, Sean, wherever you are. Okay, we're going to start up again. Greg, bye. Come on up, Greg. You want to on here?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Can you hear me? Okay.
We'll put this up.
Okay, sure. Okay. I didn't rehearse for that, but anyway, this is a true story. I found myself in a dream recently at the podium, behind the microphone in a ghost town gathering, preparing to read my poem. The audience silently stares, waiting patiently for me to proceed. Read the damn poem, I said to myself. Can't keep them waiting. In my hands was a stack of papers and a Mars plastic eraser, but no poem to read. Wing it, I cried. They will never know you drew a blank, for it is only a dream, or is it? For my second poem, I came prepared. I shall read one written by someone else, namely T.S. Eliot, The Hollow Men, Part 5. This poem resonates with me on a personal level, but recently it has perhaps taken on more of a universal angst quality. Largely, if reports are true that climate change is much worse than they reported, like where it's a point of no return or something. And then there's also the ever-present threat of a nuclear exchange. Bring on the apocalyptic kingdom of God, indeed. But in that case, it would be a bang and not a whimper. But okay. Hollow Men, Part 5, T.S. Eliot. Here we go round the prickly pear, prickly pear, prickly pear. Here we go round the prickly pear at 5 o'clock in the morning. Between the idea and the reality, between the motion and the act, falls the shadow. For thine is the kingdom. Between the conception and the creation, between the emotion and the response, falls the shadow. Life is very long. Between the desire and the spasm, between the potency and the existence, and the descent falls the shadow. For thine is the kingdom. For thine is. Life is. For thine is the. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends, not with a bang but a whimper. Okay, and for my final short piece, I will perform an homage to Scott Kelman, an important figure in late 20th century theater. He established the off-Broadway theater movement in New York in the 1960s, among other accomplishments. In the early 1980s, he moved to Los Angeles, where he gave his unwavering commitment to innovative theater for over a decade. Portland was Scott's next and final destination, arriving in 1995. He conducted workshops, taught college courses, and prepared theatrical productions virtually to the day he passed in early 2007. Perhaps some of you attended Kelman's workshop. My friend Tracy would have been here. There had been at least one, but she didn't show up. Perhaps some of you attended his classes or workshops, and he was that prolific. For those wanting to know more about him and his work, I encourage you to take one of the flyers I brought and look him up online. There's lots of interesting stuff there. Okay. This is called You and Your Performance, in memory of Scott Kelman. I really don't care about Scott Kelman. I do care about the performance you prepared because you care about Scott Kelman. Deliberation. Check it out. Find space in which to create. Empathy, yield. Don't act upon your first step, on your first thoughts. Sound and movement. Find your center. Riff, the way we generate script. Sound and movement. Generate rhythm, think jazz. Generate poetry, to teach, to move, to delight. Pretty words strung together, images fall out. Generate the rhythms, images emerge. Generate the rhythms, poetry emerge. Word begets image, poetry emerge. Poetry, poetry, don't fear the words. Generate the rhythms, images emerge. Behold the rhythms, performance emerge. Thank you.
All right, next, Dane. Dane Deloy, come on up. I didn't bother to mess
Wow,
with
that's
it.
fine. Thank you. I'm good.
You're good.
Yes, thank you
Much
very
better than
much. Yeah, I think that should be good right there. Hi, how you doing? I'm Dane. I have a book. It's called 100% Organic Music. And it's 23 songs that are in here. I'm going to do one song and 2 poetry pieces. I was on Facebook and I was informed this afternoon that a friend of mine from back in Pittsburgh had passed. And I hadn't talked to him in a while. And he and I were the same age. And he had a stroke. And so like for the last 6 months, he was incapacitated, almost in a vegetable state. And then he just passed, I guess, yesterday. And there was a picture of his brother there. And his brother is about 41. But his beard was as gray as Jim's, you know? And you could see the mourning on his face. So the piece I'm gonna do for him, his name is Dathan Jackson. It's called They Don't Love You. But it can be crowd participation. So I'm gonna sing the hook for you, and then you can fill in whenever the hook comes in. We've done this before, it's worked pretty well.
Yeah.
All right. So the hook goes, they don't love you, they just want your body so they can, and you guys sing, steal your soul, or say, you don't have to sing it. So it goes, they don't love you, they just want your body so they can
Feel your soul.
Thank you. Lost in the city of Los Angeles, holy for holies, eating hot tamales to get your Jolly Joes on. The flow's on with no coupon, the discount rate to discount the hate and move on. And around your whole life but couldn't dodge the faded and can't pay to fake it. It's that misguided love that gets you bludgeoned by a coven of witches whose mission was to covet the love that they wasn't given. Both chicken heads and pigeons, pussycats and kittens, luring the indigenous and string them up with ribbons and give them religion, then quash their emotion, feed them poison to rub them down with lotion and turning them in circles till they got that motion sickness. Then when they fall down, continue blaming the victim, and then continue blaming the victim again. They don't love you, they just want your body so they can steal your soul. No love in the city or the county or the state. No love intervention, a nation of ingrates. As haters stand apart to stare, teeth-sucking glare, waiting to act fake and be a betrayer. The backstabbing pose you can't juxtapose. They just wait to catch you sleeping, don't doze. You give them the shirt off your back and rest of the clothes. But when you're butt naked, then they'll step on your toes. It's a sad, sad story, but that's how it goes. Alliances end when your friends become foes. It's trending a lot. You share the same spot. The ones closest to you continue the plot because they don't love you. They don't love you, no they don't. They just want your body so they can steal your soul. Thank you. I got two more pieces. One's short, one's medium. It's called Mincemeat Pie. Never go against a gut feeling, even if it puts your libido in limbo. Limp mode creeps under the radar. How soft I am for you. It doesn't seem to make sense, but it's the perfect permutation from beauty to beast, to hybrid, to clone, to not giving two bleeps, to having no backbone, to standing straight on 2 feet. It's like going to rehab for 3 days to stay clean for 2 weeks. Went from moaning to cringe, to mornings of binge, surrounded by people, but having no friends, only pages, only rages to speak. It's all labeled protein, and you don't know which meat that you eat.
Yeah.
And this piece I started in the work, and then I revised. So this is a revision. I usually don't revise, but it's called A Muse for the Masses. Joy and release. Joy and release. We heard you spoke to them. More specifically, you spoke to her. We saw her with you, consorting in a consortium with her. She advanced and occupied the poet's space where ecstasy had ate a hole in our brains collectively, traded soul for connectivity, hoping the guilt would creep into their association, praying corruptly face down in a magazine, not even the cover girl photo, but an index pixie next to the continued paragraph. To continue. I will let you see into one of our sweet soirees, resume at the front door of an audition. I just completed my character as Easley Jones, chased by some cops, bobbies and inspectors, some of them even British, even. And she was a starlet in her mind, though she lacked the stature and was too dark brown for the mainstream. So she remained here at Kuntu Repertory Theater. True story. Now was the moment I was rushed in to show my lead potential. Star power mused matrix, fit to the dark side, affixed and affixed. We were fed lines together to be read under the lights, and they were so hot. So I began my lines, which went something like, I was bred here to provide my seeds with their royal line and kingdom. You may go, but you may not take my son. Not now, with gravitas, not ever.
Yeah.
And then there was silence. I then turned and looked into the co-star's face, straight into her eyes, waiting for a response. She says, and I quote, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot my lines. My nipples got hard. And she wasn't lying. There they were, pert underneath her shirt, poking through her and her nipples. But I didn't break character. My posture was straight because I had stuck the landing with my lines. I was stoic, waiting to be rewarded with at very least a callback, but no, she was cast the lead and I was cast aside, waiting to be cast away, basically not cast. She would play the lead, be mused, but not my muse. She tried to hold my daughter for moments, not given to her, but I quickly rushed in and took the baby girl far, far away. So my muse wanted inadvertently to ransom my child and scream like the wild banshees and go down with the soul ship like it's not a slave ship, singing soulless songs, empty scores, scores of years, bored with the same ignorance, no tears, no peer, only jeers. I used to have her, but why did you let her go? She was not mine. As she looked back down the hallway and sauntered in time. She was now anonymous. Lost the breast, lost the chest, lost the rest. You can be accepted more easily as a homosexual in the scene. I've seen it. Only tops, no bottoms with bodies on the bottom. Blood-gutted lust from the aisles of less boast and Sodom. Now they're grouped with us, the dark and the scorn, strewn to the corner prison cell, where the disrupted and the disruptors fell, collapsed under the spells of myriads of souls, left empty to be abused. I escaped the masses. I escaped the muse. Thank you.
Nicely done. Not even close.
Ooh, he was a tall guy. It's fun to watch.
And I know I feel short all the time, but this is ridiculous. All right, we're going to hear from Alea Mays. Alea, come on up. You definitely need a drawer. Which way do we go? We'll do this
That's
one.
fine. Is that good for you?
All right.
I have to apologize real quick. My sister and I have to duck out directly after I read because I have to run the drumline camp in the morning. So I'm not going to hear anybody after this, but I'm glad I've got to hear what I have tonight. So. A little explanation, just real quick. My ex-boyfriend has a dog named Silas. Okay, this is called Silas and Stephanie. You are so much like his dog. I hope you find comfort with the similar personality, perhaps finding familiarity with sighs, hugs, and kisses, but no, you're instead with his arms and his lips, the ones your goddess-like charm persuaded into lying. It's quite funny, I must say, this scene you've crafted much like a play, playing with those around you. What a wonderful puppeteer. You've written a romance disguised as a comedy, but not even you understood what you had written into life as it is far beyond you. It has spread its wings, taken off into forever, and will never return back to the nest. It's tragic, just like the joke you've written. You are so much like his dog, easily excitable, latching on to anyone who shows kindness, believing it to be affection. You fall in love so quickly, so hard. What is it, 3 times now and counting this year only the past couple of months. I hope your ideal couple has been well worth the wait. You are so much like his dog, loyal to him. And now it's plain to see that list consists of only one. It's a wonder that your facade of a friendly face hasn't fallen to anyone except me. But it is you holding the leash because you love to be in control, leading him just like you've led everyone else into believing you are much more than what you are. Now, I could continue on and on, but frankly, I'm done. I'm done being your groomer. I'm done being loyally yours, your highness. When you're with him, do you feel as high as I did, drunk on his love? Though, who am I to talk to you about drinking? But I digress. Give it a rest. You want to be happy? Well, step in line. Cheat your way to the top. Show dog it up. I'm sure many men will appreciate your attempts. You are so much like his dog. But I've discovered one major difference. I like Silas. And now I'm really done. Just go back to thinking that you won. You've never really liked poetry, so I'll leave you with a simple simile and explain it for fear you'll miss the similarity. You are so much like his dog. In other words, you are a bitch.
Whoa!
All right, so our next reader, this goes back a lot of years, so I just want to say this little preamble. I met her at the library, the Fort Vancouver Library, the same time I met Mr. Luna, and the same time I met Mr. Martin, and Eileen Elliott. And that was way long ago. But we would gather monthly at down in the basement at the old library site on Mill Plain, and we would write poems. And then we would gather another time during the month and we would read them out loud like an open mic. And so we go back a long time, and I'm really happy to see her here tonight. Diane Cameron, come on, Diane.
Thank you, Jimmy. Actually, when we started that, when I went there, I hadn't written poetry in like 20 years. It's like you did it when you were a teenager, full of angst and all that stuff, and then it just sort of didn't happen. And then, I thought, oh, look, there's poetry and it's free. You don't have to pay anything to do this, and so it was kind of fun. Anyway, so I have 2 poems tonight, and the first one is, my mother wrote a memoir, and I've spent a large portion of the summer editing it. Not that terrible. I mean, it's overall it's good. It's just there's a lot of things, and she's a perfectionist. So this is about the memoir. It's called The Secret of 1945. Now, 1945 is the end of World War II. So this is like just toward the end of World War II. She was an American living in Germany with German grandparents. And so she was mistaken for a German. Okay, The Secret of 1945 for Bobby. 10 years old, she felt the walls shake. 10 years old, a train blew up just behind her back door. 10 years old, they took her grandfather and her aunt away. 10 years old, and then they took her. 10 years old, she almost starved and died. 10 years old, but there was song and love and hope. And when she was 11, release. And then, 82, she wrote the memoir. And now, at 83, she'll tell the world. And finally, at 83, she'll find the freedom that she lost when she was 10 years old. Okay, and this one's called I Need a Win for Marnie. Watched you lose the weight, run the race, I cheered from the sidelines, then took the tour of your remodeled kitchen, custom counter, while I used wood glue to secure floor panels, Coke bottles on top to load the burden. Watched your daughter finish in college, your daughter get the job I wanted for mine, and cheered you on. I cheer you on while I sigh and think that poem about equality is trash. And then I remember a sobering thought and call my mother because I miss yours.
Okay, our next reader helped to put together the Poetry Moves event through her role on the Arts of Clark County. She's also a teaching poet in our Poets in the Schools program. We greet Morgan Hutchinson.
Thank you. Hi. What's up, Mike?
Hey, hi.
Mike,
Good to see you. Happy
You too, hey.
Happy summer.
Right. What's going on?
All right.
I don't get a chance to say hi to you. I'm happy to be here. I missed last month. I was on a camping trip with my family. Thank God, I need to get out there. Everybody needs to get out there in the woods. We live in a beautiful place where we can do that. But every time I miss, I always feel like there's something missing, from my life. So I'm happy to be back. Thanks for having this. The piece that I'm going to read today, I wrote a few months back, and Nathan was the one that was talking about a piece, you're going back to a piece and it being more relevant or just as relevant later on. So I played with this piece today and edited it, and I have fun with it. So I'm excited to share it with y'all today. It is called Double Yeah, Double Down, Double Dutch. Double named, double stable, double standards, double staple, double drive, double distance, double lust, double trust, double freedom, double essence, double leading, double placement, double bleeding, double rent, double dance, double trance, double trace, double race, double rips, double dabs, double slabs, double slaps, double traps, double dirty, double power, double dibs, double dips, double tripping, double slips, double swim, double vision, double trouble, double vision, double dare, double stare, double you, double true, double luck, double fuck, double tapping, double tasting, double scoops, double drool, double kissing, double touching, double draw, double spitting, double light, double flight, double thrills, double chills, double play, double date, double yeah, double down, double Dutch, double yeah, double down, double Dutch. Thank you.
Yes. That reminded me that I'm always telling people in my poetry classes to go outside. So see what can happen if you go outside and go inside. We're all spending a lot of time in the dark, staring at screens. Fucking go outside, you'll find the poem. I want to make a couple of announcements before we get back into the next one, because we can't go to a Christopher Luna event without announcements. But I made a couple of them, so I have to make a note here. Let's see if we don't want to say anything twice. That'd be terrible. Okay. Unless it's Morgan, then it's all right. All right, talked about that. Okay, and Tony talked about that. Okay, so there's actually only one thing left, which is that Printed Matter Vancouver, which is the small press that we started, is going to be featured at the Studio Series, which is a great series at Stonehenge Studios. It's also called Stonehenge Designs in Portland. I believe it's over there by Corbett, but if anyone needs the address, I can get it for them. So Tony and I will both be reading our work, and so will Tiffany. Tiffany Burba, as some of you may remember, was the last person who we did a full-length book of poetry for last fall, and so Leah Stenson, who hosts that great reading, has offered to let us be the show, but there's also an open mic at the Studio Series, so I hope that some of you will come over to listen and also share some of your work. It's a pretty cool place. It's basically like it's kind of like a combination, like card shop and art gallery. So it's a pretty friendly space to do it in. So I hope that you'll come. Sorry, Sunday, August 13th at 7 p.m. Yes, thank you. And next, we're going to hear from Darcy Schultz. Come on up, Darcy.
As usual, I brought too many things. I'm going to start out by reading an E. Cummings poem. The thing about Cummings is that when you read his stuff, it infects you. What if a much of a witch of a wind gives the truth to summer's lie? Bloodies with dizzying leaves the sun and yanks immortal stars awry. Blow king to beggar and queen to seem. Blow friend to fiend, blow space to time. When skies are hanged and oceans drowned, the single secret will still be man.
What if a keen of a lean wind flays screaming hills with sleet and snow, strangles valleys by ropes of thin, and stifles forests in white ago? Blow hope to terror, blow seeing to blind, blow pity to envy and soul to mind. Whose hearts are mountains, roots are trees, it's they shall cry hello to the spring. What if a dawn of a doom of a dream bites this universe in two, peels forever out of his grave and sprinkles nowhere with me and you? Blow soon to never and never to twice, blow life to isn't, blow death to was. All nothing's only our hugest home, the most who die, the more we live. This next poem is written by Peggy Ponchurch, who grew up and lived in the area I grew up and lived in, which is Santa Fe and Los Alamos. And she grew up before Los Alamos became what it was and watched it turn into a fort and watched it turn into the bastion of atomic power. The nuclear physicists. These are the men who, working secretly at night and against great odds, and in what peril they knew not of their own souls, invoked for man's sake the most ancient archetype of evil and bade this go forth and save us at Hiroshima and again at Nagasaki. We had thought the magicians were all dead, but this was the blackest of magic. There was even the accompaniment of fire and brimstone, the shape of evil, towering leagues high into heaven in terrible, malevolent beauty. And beneath, the bare trees made utterly leafless in one instant, and the streets where no one moved, and some walls still standing eyeless and as silent as before time. These are the men who now, with aching voices and with eyes that have seen too far into the world's fate, tell us what they have done and what we must do. In words that conceal apocalypse, they warn us what compact with evil was signed in the name of all the living, and how, if we demand that evil keep his bargain, we must keep ours, and yield our living spirits into the irrevocable service of destruction. Now we, in our wilderness, must reject the last temptation, the kingdoms of earth and all the power and the glory, and bow before the Lord our God, and serve him whose still small voice, after the wind, the earthquake, the vision of fire, still speaks to those who listen and will the world's good. Do you understand why I'm bringing this up? Now I'm going to have to top that by a couple of poems I wrote, and this is not topping it. But here you are. I'm redoing some Southwest events in my life, and this was a fencing tournament when I was 19, and we drove from Santa Fe, New Mexico at 7,000 feet up to probably 11,000 feet and then down to Silverton, Colorado at 9,200 feet to do a fencing tournament with the Flatlanders from Denver who were coming up from 5,200 feet. Sword night. Toward the tournament, down to the valley nearly 2 miles up, past snow-covered trees marching silently on stark slopes, on plowed roads hanging in air, 6 feet below the nearly round level markers erupting orange from the snow. We drove as the stars danced, guiding us in with a wordless song. Colorado winter. Emerging from the van, our steps crunched and crackled. We paused in the street before century-old hotel, looking up and past it in amazement. Up and up at moon full to bursting. Goddess arms touching earth stag's velvet tines. Snowshine of blue fire. Star bells pealing wild praises of ecstasy in their wheeling flight. And below, our reverent steel raised in salute as we kept watch hours before the dawn.
Thanks, Darcy. So if you're here for the first time, I guess I'll just say, I mean, it's becoming obvious as you listen to these people, but we want to hear poems by other people. It's the poetry is an oral tradition. We want to hear poems in other languages. So if you have friends who are not poets, but they like poetry and they want to participate, that's an easy way that they can be a part of this, this community event. So please invite them, ask them to come and read whatever they're moved to read. If you're brave enough to get up here and do it, we want to hear it. You know?
I brought something in Spanish, but I felt like I ran out of time. So.
Okay, well, thank you, and bring those again. We're, yeah, it's one of my favorite readings that I was ever at was a Federico Garcia Lorca reading. About 90% of it was in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, and I don't feel like I missed a thing, to be honest with you. But I got it all. I got what I needed to get. And now, someone who's legendary around these parts and also is occasionally a spy in a blue blazer at the Portland 5, our friend Mike G. Woo!
It's always good to be here. I did this last month as my annual trip to Michigan to see family and my beloved fireflies / lightning bugs. At dusk, they light up and wink out. And they light up and wink out, and I wish I could have stowed some away in my carry-on luggage to bring here, but they would have died. If anybody's super bored, on Monday around 10 p.m., I'll be on KB Radio being interviewed by Melissa Silito, who ran a reading downtown at Three Friends Coffee Shop for many years. I don't know how that's going to go. It might be interesting. A poet on a radio is always different. KBOO, what's that, FM or AM?
FM.
FM, right next to OPB.
Yep.
Better off live streaming it on the website. But anyway, that should be fun. My friends, rather than waste my time with the solar eclipse, I will be glued to CGI sci-fi on Netflix. As we wait for the tyranny of the social media smartphone lobotomy to end, we might as well be extraordinary. We pray for no unexpected piano movements today, no earthquakes rocking the matrix, as the little girl happily licks her ice cream cone as if the world were sane. Just stick me in the stupid CERN Large Hadron Collider and fire me at Miley Cyrus at 99.9% the speed of light. May the fruit of our union yield the God particle that will make me and Miley happy for once. Princess the Chihuahua brings all she knows of barking to this beautiful day. At the McDonald's walk-up window on West Burnside, the aliens turn to me and say, "Why the fuck should we know why we're here? Do you know why you're here?" "Because I have only $4, I say. "Enjoy the nice day. It's not gonna last," says the weather lady with perfect teeth. "I floss the teeth I want to keep." 3. I dream the poets quit poetry to become video poker gamblers. They seem fundamentally happier. When the tulips last bloomed in the sandbox, I was a nihilist and didn't notice the midget and the man holding hands as they enter the orgy. Pure magic. After making love, we critique my poetry video. I think I've nailed the essence of things this time, baby. I really do. "This shit ain't making you no money," she says. "You need to monetize your thoughts. You need to call your next video, click on this, and win a free vacation." There was a torrent of sadness to his love and in everything he wrote, afflicting even his jokes, the 10-year-old neighbor girl said. Meanwhile, the tulips are starting to bloom just in time for the time traveler. Remember to turn your computer off before midnight, December 31, 1999. The ignorant waste their 15 minutes screaming. The shallowest brook babbles the loudest. That's why I want to wander in the desert where no brooks are. It's too loud here. Sometimes God, evolution, or aliens are nowhere to be found, and we're left with the self and the self's desperation to keep going, to stay alive, to appear sane for the others. I keep going by turning my desperation into something I can perform as if I were dying. Dear recent graduates, please rid the sad, addictive world of money. Dear tiny piece of watermelon stuck in my tooth gap, please leave me. My next reading calls for me to fall asleep. What did you do before the internet was invented, the 10-year-old neighbor girl says. Watch TV. What did your parents do before TV? They say they played outside with actual friends, but you can't always trust your parents. The fact that there's a highway to hell and only a stairway to heaven says a lot about the anticipated traffic numbers. Vitamin D is sweet, but I'm missing me some vitamin rain, baby. Once I had a wife. What was she like? She left a trail of light to the coffee maker. She left radiant fingerprints on her cigarettes. She often glowed like a child waving a poem in the window, or that glass of milk we left upon the moon so we could love in peace. I placed her on a pedestal called Impossible. It did not help me sleep when I gave up counting sheep for counting the faces of every human being I've ever loved. That was a mistake. Suffering has finally taught me that what I've interpreted as the inane chatter of others is simply the honest expression of their truth in that moment, necessary and true to them, as anything that I write is necessary and true to me. The drunks slurring their sermons of lowbrow lust and triviality are sharing their perfect poems of the moment. The human shouting fuck, fuck, fuck as he charges down the sidewalk with his dog is sharing his perfect poem of the moment. I can't explain away mental pain. On sunny days I Google the rain. The latest translation of Moby Dick is written solely in emojis. My friends, I don't know if I want to read Emoji Dick or remove my ribs to suck my own or kill myself. There was this one time I lived in the present moment and I laughed so hard I cried. Someday a 25-year-old assistant manager will say, sorry, Mike G, you're not fit enough to survive. Thanks.